What happened to Dan Crenshaw? He used to be loved by everybody well, maybe not everybody on the right, but certainly by a lot of people. And here we have.
Tell us about my all-time favorite member of Congress, Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. So he's a tough one. He's a hothead on Twitter now.
He's out of control.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's taken this stance a little bit.
Because
that's a big red flag for any politician or public person. Someone who can't handle themselves on Twitter or takes Twitter too seriously. Red flag.
Personal life is out of control.
Yeah, because he used to be like a right-wing darling. Like he was, with the Navy SEALs, I think early on. Again,
not with me.
And I don't know why. Again, I don't know why. But he was all over like Timcast and, he was talking to everybody and everybody seemed to have a good relationship. And I'm not going to say that I clocked from the beginning that he was full of shit, but I definitely didn't see what the allure was outside of the fact that, he had a cool eye patch and that he was in the military.
I always thought he was a freak and a warmonger.
Really? Yeah.
Weirdo, yeah. He's a freak and a warmonger weirdo, but yeah.
He's showing it now.
Yeah.
Did you see the free press he did where we posted this? He essentially comes out and he's like supporting politician stock trading. He's like, if you get rid of it, you're going to get crappy politicians. And it's like, ooh.
No, probably we're going to get politicians who actually care about the job.
What are you talking about? We're not asking you guys to.
That's like saying,
get paid.
If you don't allow the police to shake down speeders at gunpoint, you're going to get a worse kind of cop.
Exactly.
Based.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's So he had a fiery one with the free press probably about like 2 months ago, right before Thanksgiving.
I saw that.
So sure, yeah, why not? Don't let us trade stocks. How about?
Oh yeah, I remember this. Whiny as a little bitch.
We'll just keep whipping ourselves. How about we don't make any money either?
Oh,
how about just cut our
baby.
paychecks? We haven't gotten a pay raise since 2008. Even a COLA increase. So yeah, this is a great idea. Let's make Congress a place where only the millionaires can actually afford to do the job. This is
cope harder. And obviously he's just saying this, not because he thinks that we needed stocks for people to be able to afford to do the job of government, but because it makes him rich.
Wonderful idea.
His portfolio, though, in particular, he's up around like 48 to 50%. And all of this, I got to say this for compliance reasons. Like you can see all this on our app, it's all right there. So I may kind of be, depending on the day. But he outperformed the market. He was right below Pelosi.
Yeah, damn. Guys, if you are new here, please do hit that like and subscribe. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, so hit that bell as well to never miss a live party.
He's an idiot, though. I mean, with no business background that I'm aware of. So, how would you do that?
His stocks, the one that in particular that really frustrated me about him was Meta. So with the stocks that he's buying his portfolio is comprised of Meta, which he's crushing it, up like 200%. He bought the dip perfectly back in 2022, I believe.
Just, perfect timing. That's it. Just perfect timing.
Pretty much perfectly. The thing started flying. He bought Amazon. He bought FAS, which is a finance ETF. He bought the SPY, and then he bought Wynn Resorts, and then he bought some other company. The stock, though, that crushed it for him was Meta. And the part that I get annoyed about, aside from TikTok bans, this and that, he buys the stock, a couple months later, starts pushing and publicly vocalizing like, hey, everyone, we should ban TikTok.
Of course. Now I have an official reason to hate him. I know a lot of you guys aren't all about TikTok. I love TikTok. But not only the fact that he's trying to ban it, but the fact that he's trying to ban it not to protect his citizens, not to protect national security, but to protect his own damn pockets.
And it's pretty convenient to say when you own TikTok's main competitor. And every time you're saying that, the stock's going up 5%. He then goes off and...
But he's a whipping boy.
Starts asking for the ban on... And again, I feel like I'm pretty pro ban TikTok, so there's a whole world with that. But
if you are pro banning TikTok, please, in the comments, tell me why. Tell me exactly why it should be banned.
He then goes off and votes against the bill to ban TikTok. So now you got a politician that is buying TikTok's main competitor, Meta. You're then publicly talking about how you want to ban it from government officials' phones to then voting on the bill to ban TikTok, all while the stock has gone up 200% while you've owned it.
And this is you're shocking me.
Yeah, I'm numb to it.
And when he gets called out on it, and this is one of the
He cries. He cries, as we just saw.
reasons I dislike him, and I do think that there's a lot wrong with him personally. So I do feel sorry for him. A lot wrong. I mean, I know
I don't feel sorry for him at all.
that. But anyway, leaving that aside, the reason I don't like him is because he's self-righteous.
Yeah.
If I catch you shoplifting and then you punch me in the face and scream how you're being victimized, I can't deal with that. Just admit you're shoplifting. Say sorry and I'll forgive you and move on. But don't yell at me.
And especially on the right, I think if you're on the left and you got caught doing something, then you're done, they throw you away and whatever. But I think there's a little bit, maybe not a great amount, but a little bit more grace on the right for sure.
Yeah. Or even just help the conversation. Be like, yeah, I mean, if you guys are allowing us, like, I'll vote on it, this and that. Like, just be open and be transparent about it.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to attack and, gaslight.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And boy, is he a specialist in that area.
Yeah, the Free Press one, I'll send it to you after.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one gets my blood boiling because it's like, what frustrates me about this stuff is you can't sit on the committee, you can't be voting on these things, you can't be doing all this stuff in front of the American public. Meanwhile, I have a friend that is a consultant at EY or Deloitte. He can't trade individual stocks. I got friends in banking that can't trade individual stocks. It's like, why can you not let the low-level analysts at JP Morgan buy, Apple?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got these politicians buying up this $500 million military construction company.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
All right in front
I
of
know the answer. You want to hear the answer? Because after the financial crisis that Congress helped cause, Congress runs in with Dodd-Frank, Chris Dodd and Barney Frank, member of the Senate, member of the House, both Democrats, and they come up with all these regulations that are supposedly going to protect America from future disasters of this kind. And they, pass these so-called reforms, destroy the banking sector, really, don't make it less corrupt, just kind of wreck it, take all the innovation out of it, and then they don't apply those same standards to themselves. Right? I mean, that's kind of the short...
Rules for thee, not for me.
Is that a...
Did I tell ya or did I tell ya? I would tell ya if I had already heard them say that, but it's just that simple. Rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah, 100%. And the history of the Stock Act, it started because of the housing crisis.
Yeah.
So it was initially introduced in 2006. And the Stock Act, literally, what it says is stop trading on congressional knowledge. That's what it means. So if you have a bill that literally says stop trading on congressional knowledge as the name of the act, you know that there's something already sketchy going on. And why was that not a thing to begin with?
And so what happened to it?
So in 2006, it got introduced. No politicians cared about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this. I think this would have a lot of public support. So I'm going to guess that they buried it.
Whatever. After the housing crisis, they found out and they realized that there were around 33 politicians that set their portfolios up after talking with the officials at the Fed and, the people building up the monetary policy. They reconstructed their portfolios while that whole crisis was going on. They didn't have to display or publicly talk about it because the Stock Act wasn't announced. All that stuff came out after that, like, while the housing market is crashing and Americans are losing their homes left and right, these politicians are moving millions, reconstructing their portfolios after getting out of the meetings with the Fed officials. So
Yep, called it. And are you at all surprised? You cannot possibly be surprised that they are that corrupt at every level, left, right, and center.